All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here to close out the week here this Friday morning, October 1st. Start of the pay period, start of the month. Great to see all of our students and trial members like Lewis, Christopher, got Jeffrey M, James W, Bobby, William, Jeffrey, Lewis, I had said just before as well, Ray. And great to see all of us otherwise inside the cyber group room. And if you're joining us today on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, welcome on back. Of course, you could tell this is not Fausto Pugliese. My name is Josh Levitan for anyone new perhaps, but otherwise, I know that most of us on social media just recognize me at this point. I'm subbing in for Fausto this morning. He has a rare meeting here at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Otherwise, he would normally be doing this meeting, and he's actually stepping away afterwards. He has a big event to attend to this morning, and then shortly afterwards, he's just going to Delaware with family, just enjoying the weekend there. So I'm going to help him out, do the meeting for us here, and just go right from top to bottom. Otherwise, make things simple for us. We did have a pretty good day yesterday, and I will talk about a couple of those moves as we get to them across the gainers and losers lists. But otherwise, though, we got the BMRA stock to begin on the screen. So this one, our top percent gainer for right now, stock is up 38+%. So really quickly, since we're not exactly doing a full recap of yesterday's moves, we're going to dive right into the news on this stock and see why this BMRA stock is up so much. So I had posted this just actually earlier. Give me a quick sec. I'll post for all of us here on YouTube and Facebook Live first. Good morning, Bonnie, joining us today on YouTube. Normally joined us inside the cyber group room, one of our longtime students. But with that in mind, let's take a look at the news on BMRA. We ended up seeing the news come out early this morning. MRK reports that Walmart is now selling its easy detect colorectal screening test. All right, well, Walmart's obviously a big name, right? So, anytime we see these big partnerships, collaborations, whether it be with a Walmart or a Costco and Amazon, of course, we tend to see a nice reaction. And with that, we ended up getting a big pop shortly after 8 o'clock. At first, actually, a bit of a gap fill or a gap, and then it popped. From this point, at least, it's making lower highs, pulling back. Not surprising, at least heading into the market open. It's to say that after the market opens up, we're going to look for a bounce. We're going to look for a slingshot, actually, more than that. We're going to look to see if this could pull back down under 6, back over 6, and then from there for it to run. So, yeah, right away, the BMRA stock we'll put on our main watch list here to begin. All right, so we'll keep it going. Actually, as we were talking about BMRA, I don't know if you folks saw this on the gainers list here. This was number one. Now it's number two. This AVIR. I don't know what it is. Geez, wow, this thing was running up after 8:30. I don't know why this wasn't on the hot list there, the gainers list. Maybe it was. I just didn't see it there, but it just jumped up apparently. But yeah, I mean, pretty expensive nonetheless. This stock has a very thin order book. Looks like a relatively new ticker dating back to earlier this year, probably, or from last year actually, end of last year, roughly a year ago. Sheesh. Oh, it's a weekly chart. I'm realizing, I'm like, oh, that has to be a new IPO, right? I forgot to switch back to a daily chart here. I had the weekly up. So now you can tell a lot easier. And just dating back to last year is a relatively new IPO still from last year. Ended up running up, dumped all the way back down. And for right now, I don't know what the news is on this stock, but I'd rather trade a much cheaper stock first, just opportunity cost. And then at least otherwise, I'd rather trade a stock that has a lot more liquidity on the order book. The BMRA easily is on our list for that reason. And we'll see what else is out there otherwise. CDXS, like, pretty much similar to the AVIR. It's only trading 87,000 shares though. So listen, I don't really know what the news is on this stock. I mean, unless if it's right at all-time highs, which I'll go back to the weekly chart and check. It's kind of lingering around those all-time highs this morning in pre-market, 29.56, the all-time high back from February this year, and it's practically there now. So that would be the reason I would put this CDXS stock on our main watch list this morning. I'm going to keep it on the side for right now. I'll kind of try and skim through, kind of cherry pick any others that look even better in terms of the order book. But, this one could be interesting. Familiar name, ZOM. We ended up trading the stock back in the beginning of this year. I'll toggle back to my daily chart there. But nonetheless, this stock, I mean, is really flat for right now, very active in pre-market nonetheless. So again, like, I'll put this on our side list with the others. I mean, I'm not ready to commit to this stock just yet. We normally don't see these cheapies below $1 make a concise run. At times, of course, they will. And much like this AEZS is right now. And this stock we were following, if I'm not mistaken, we were from yesterday. If it wasn't yesterday, yeah, it was. We saw the stock make a little squeak up and run, and then by the time the market closed, nice pop for us heading into the afternoon. So yeah, this AEZS seemingly continuing this morning in pre-market. So for right now, I'd rather trade the AEZS compared to that other one. I'll put this on our main list here. See if this could run up to major resistance, likely at $1. PALT, nice pop. I mean, I was going to put this on our list anyway, just given how familiar we've been with this trade over the last couple of days, breaking all-time highs as a new IPO as well, actually. But yeah, nice big pop here from 1130-ish, 1140. Practically up a dollar right away. So yeah, this one should be a no-brainer just to put on our watch list. Not to say that's an easy trade, but for right now, definitely one we'll keep more of a focus on. All right, water break there. My apologies, but ITRM, not much happening here. You got EBET, pretty spotty. All right, so this leads me to the Bitcoin mining related stocks: Bitfarms, BTCM, Riot, Mara, Cannon, ANY, BBIG, like you name them at this point. It's like a Rolodex inside of my head. To say this, folks, we're going to talk crypto more in the afternoon, as I typically host the afternoon meetings. And on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, I do like a little, 5-10 minutes on crypto. I'm just going to show this for right now, just, for the sake of showing that, hey, it's not just crypto that we're like looking at here. It's the fact that when Bitcoin makes these big pops, this is a 15-minute chart. So I normally don't dive this like deep into like an intraday, but it's to say that at least, dating back to the last couple of days, it started to pop back up. And then heading into this morning, like overnight, heading into the pre-market this morning early, a really sharp pop up, just about 3,000 points up. So with that, I mean, it's practically made a full recovery dating back to late last week, right? So with that, we happen to see Bitfarms up, BTCM up, BTBT pulling back a little bit, but up percentage wise. I think that you folks kind of get the gist there. So for right now, I definitely am interested in these equities to see if they can make a similar move with Bitcoin once the market opens up. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put all of them on like the main special list. I don't want to kind of like distract or overwhelm all of us here with all these, cryptos. It's to say that I'm going to put a few on here. BITF, Bitfarms, that's a cheapie that has really good liquidity on the order book. For right now, the BTCM is up more percentage wise, I believe, still. So that one I'll give a little rub to, and trading 134,000 shares this morning in pre-market. But at the same time, if we happen to see Bitcoin flop back down a little bit, then we'll try and short a couple of these. And one of the shortable ones would be Riot, actually. So, Riot's up 6.85%, not really showing much of a trend this morning in pre-market, but given that it can move with Bitcoin, hey, if it pops, then we'll try and run Riot up. And then if it drops back down, Bitcoin I'm talking about, then, at least this one's shortable. This one, would be a tradable opportunity as should Bitcoin tend to pull back. All right. So we'll get more into crypto at least later on at 2:30. All right, so we'll see what else we got here. Ride Lewis, right on cue. Great segue. Lewis here in our live trading room saying Ride is yesterday and today worth watching. So it ended up making a big pop. About time. I mean, we saw this stock make a little move in pre-market, and then it was like flat in pre-market, although it was trading a lot of volume. And then after the market opened up yesterday, it ended up making a big pop. But it was active yesterday off of certain news, so I do want to pull that up. Then obviously, as you saw, it ended up making another pop in the after hours and still hanging in there this morning. So let's see. I'm going to just recite a couple of news reports for us here, folks. So it looks like just from from yesterday morning, and they had some report coming out from Bloomberg. Lordstown nears a deal to sell their Ohio plant to Taiwan's Foxconn. And then otherwise, by the time the market closed yesterday, it says that Lordstown Motors provides production, financial updates their guidance. All right, so that we're pretty familiar with at least. So if they increased fiscal year guidance or whatnot across the next calendar year, then that would see a pretty nice reaction from the market. Lastly, an update. It says Foxconn, that Taiwan company, will purchase $50 million of Lordstown common stock at a price of $6.89 or $6.90 a share. I don't know if that relates to where it's trading at now. This morning, it says Morgan Stanley reinstates equal weight on Lordstown Motors, announces an $8 price target, which is again above where it's or it's trading above that right now, rather. So, at least for right now, Ride, just very volatile stock. And I say that in a good way, given the liquidity. It's not like always like a negative connotation for a stock, like being volatile. This stock is volatile in a good way. It has, a very good spread, or certainly after the market open, it will. So this stock is definitely on the top of my radar now heading into the market open here. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Otherwise, folks, just checking out some of the others here. As I had said, one of the other Bitcoin mining related stocks, and one that we are familiar with, ANY. This one could be also one that we can, put on our list perhaps. I could say the same on Canon. I could say the same on SOS here, I believe. So we'll keep them on the side for all of us live inside the trading room. We'll kind of call them out sporadically should we see them make a stronger move up, stronger move down if we could short them. But I like that Bitfarms. I like the BTCM here, the ones that are up more percentage wise. And at least for right now, that Riot trade. That's one we're familiar with and shortable at least. All right, so we'll hop over to the losers list, folks. If there's anything else that you see that's up that looks good, type it in the chat board. Let me know. I got a couple down, I guess, like 20, 30%, maybe for a DCB, dead cat bounce. Not much going on there. OMER, like maybe we'll call that out once the market opens if it gives us a good opportunity. This thing just garbage. It's trading zero volume. I probably should have just skipped over that. SDPI, former runner from yesterday. So actually, let's briefly at least show this because, man, what a pop we ended up catching at least heading into the afternoon meeting. The stock ended up making a really nice run up yesterday. One of our students had called it out shortly after the afternoon meeting had finished up. So it wasn't on our radar right out the gate. But then going into 3:30, one of our students had made the call out saying it was making a new high or approaching the high of the day at the time. That was actually from the market open, so it really made a full recovery and then broke a new high and ran much higher from that point. So ended up topping off right around like 180-ish, 182. For right now, though, back down to 150. So it's a good side list stock. If you did well on this trade yesterday, then you know who you are. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just to say that I'm sure that you'd be more inclined to follow this stock this morning, much like I am on CEI. CEI is a stock that I know, a lot more of us, at least inside the live trading room and perhaps on social media, if you've been following us here this week, you should be pretty familiar with this trade at this point, right? I mean, the stock's been an absolute ATM machine across the last month. And then obviously, as you could see here, going into the end of this month, ended up just, going crazy, ended up taking off from 158 from Thursday last week where it opened up, topped off shortly underneath 5, major resistance there. And then from there, it pulled back down. But hey, this stock is pretty volatile as well in a great way. Personally, I'm more inclined to follow this one here heading into the open. And again, not just me, it's not just, me being selfish, but I know that most of us in our live trading room here, at least, are, pretty familiar with this stock, very familiar. So I'm more inclined to follow this CEI, put this on the main watch list here, at least. All right, so folks, I'll tell you what, I'm making like really good use of my time here. I often kind of flap my gums a bit, kind of run close to the market open. So if there's anything else that you see that looks good, type it in the chat board. Let me know. I got one right out the gate. I'm not looking at the chat board. So if anyone had called this out so far, my apologies. Oh no, oof, this is garbage. Ha! I saw this from Benzinga Pro. Oh no. That looks like trash. I was like looking at this signals page here, and it goes to show that a couple of these stocks don't always look that great. But I saw OPTT, 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 and that's a stock that we are pretty familiar with. So I said, you know what? I got one for us here. And normally when I say that, I'm kind of on point. This one, eesh, nothing happening on this stock. Oh man. Lynette's saying Mara, so that's like Riot's sister stock, brother stock. So I'm putting Riot on the list, Lynette, just because it's actually just cheaper than Mara is. But if you trade Mara, then I'm sure it's going to make a similar move as Riot. PROG, yeah, it's like flat, right? It's just so flat. It's trading 17 plus million shares so far. This stock ended up making the whole gap fill from what we were talking about. Not even yesterday. We were talking about this on Wednesday afternoon, talking about a potential gap fill in this trade. Ended up just doing that yesterday. Ended up running up after the market opened up. And then from there, ended up continuing up a bit this morning, up even higher. I mean, we're not really overloading our watch list here thus far. We got 2, 4, 6, 7, I think, so far, and we'll make this 8. I mean, hey, it's not a volatile stock at all, the PROG trade, right? I mean, well, it is volatile in the sense of just trading more than it's typically doing, but really consistently tight spread, liquid order book like CEI. The PALT trade's already on our list, Lynette. We already talked about that one just earlier. All right, I'll check Benzinga one more time, but I'm not going to guarantee that we're going to have any big ones here like I thought I did last time on OPTT. I think that's just about it, folks. I'm kind of reminding myself mentally right now that, well, I said today's Friday. It's the beginning of the pay period, but today's Friday. It's the end of the damn week. So normally there's not as much news that comes out going into the beginning of the week, going into the end of the week. At least company wise, there could always be news nationally, across the world, economically, so forth. But hey, if there's anything else that makes a move, if the market ends up making a concise direction up, down, anywhere in between, we'll look to call it out, obviously. And from that point, I would suggest for all of us here, whether you're joining us live on social media today, Facebook Live, YouTube, or if you're normally inside our live trading room, I would just start and stick with this list here. Again, unless if there's something that you consistently do well on, is a good side list stock for this morning. Obviously, it's different, but for anyone new, for anyone on social media, otherwise, if you're in our live trading room, start and stick with this list here. And then after that, perhaps around 9:45, perhaps even after 10 o'clock, that's when we'll rescan the market a lot more seriously, and then we'll look to see what other movers are out there from that point. All right, but again, for all of us on social media today, if you've yet to join our live trading room, feel more than free to join us, especially coming up going into the market open. I'll be providing more commentary, more call outs across the morning watch list that we have here. Feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started. For all of us there right now, just give me a quick sec. I'm going to type and tweet the list out. And then aside from that, I'll be back on the mic here coming up at 9:30. Take care.